Hi, I'm Rev Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for over 40 years. Today, I want to share with you an article I wrote, and it is called God's Will for Me is Perfect Happiness. And it's about every day as an adventure in finding my happy. So let's get started. There's a quote from lesson 102. I share God's will for happiness for me, and I accept it as my function now. I've not always been as happy as I am now. In fact, I wasn't as happy yesterday as I am today. Every day is an adventure in finding my happy. I want to share a few things I've learned that help me live a more joyful and fulfilling life. Each one of these methods is proven to work for me. There's another quote from lesson 101. You still believe it asks for suffering as penance for your sins. This is not so. First of all, I had to learn to want to be happy. I don't think I used to believe that I could be happy or deserved happiness. I made many mistakes in my life, and in my regret, I made the additional mistake of thinking that what I did in the past negated a better future. First, I had to forgive myself and forgive the past, letting it go entirely before I could experience the present joy. There's another quote. This one's from lesson 102. Be happy, for your only function here is happiness. Well, that's a good news, isn't it? The other thing I had to do to accept happiness was to let go of the idea that I needed something to change to be happy. I thought that the circumstances of my life determined my level of happiness. I was wrong about that. It wasn't what was happening that mattered, but what I thought about what was happening that decided how I would feel. What I've learned to do since this revelation is to decide on happiness. I am committed to being happy no matter what was going on in the world or my little corner of it. An example of this working in my life occurred near one Thanksgiving. It seemed like my freezer went out. I stood before it and watched my ice cream melting, wondering what I would do about it. I didn't know if this could be repaired or who to call to do it. I felt a bit overwhelmed by the whole thing. When I checked the cost of replacing the refrigerator in case that was a route I would have to go, I was further upset by the price. Then I remembered that I'm committed to happiness. So I thought about that. Could I be happy while my freezer was on the blitz and I didn't know what to do? I thought about being upset while my refrigerator was not working. And then I thought about being happy while my refrigerator was not working. Would it help the situation to be upset? Would it make it worse if I was happy? Since the answer was no to both questions, I decided to be happy. I believed in my answer, so all the stress just dissolved. The refrigerator thing worked out fine, and I didn't waste a day of my life being disgruntled or anxious. Truth occupies your mind completely, liberating you from all beliefs in the ephemeral. And that's lesson 107. Another thing that helps me in my quest for a happy life is to realize that my thoughts will direct my experience. I discovered that I might not be able to control the fact that fear thoughts or anger thoughts come into my mind, but I can control how much attention I give them. When I release false thoughts, truth occupies my mind. As in the freezer situation, I had thoughts that I didn't know what to do and thoughts that I couldn't afford a new refrigerator, so I was in trouble. But I chose not to follow those thoughts. If I'd done so, I would have caused myself greater upset, and it would have been harder to see this differently in a more forgiving light. Instead of following those thoughts, I chose happiness. As I did so, my mind was clearer and I could think better. Without the distress clouding my mind, I remembered that I had changed the refrigerator's temperature, and so I turned it back up. Evidently, when I adjusted the refrigerator temperature the day before, it had affected the freezer, which was a problem all along. If I'd followed the fearful thoughts, I might have acted impulsively and replaced a perfectly good refrigerator, or at the least paid a repairman to come out and see what was wrong. By choosing to be happy and refusing to follow negative thoughts, I made room for the truth and liberated my mind from false beliefs. In so doing, I saved myself a lot of money and distress. Happiness is an attribute of love. I cannot be apart from it. Lesson 103. Although several things help me live a happy life, I want to mention just one more: love. Applying love to any situation makes it better. I used to have a difficult relationship with someone at work. I tried everything I could to change the dynamics of that relationship, but it seemed the harder I tried, the worse the relationship became. I had to work with this person every day, and our attitude toward each other made that a miserable proposition. Obviously, I could not do anything to change his attitude, so I worked on mine. What finally turned the trick was my decision to love him. To my logical mind, this seemed impossible, but with the same commitment I give to being happy, love transformed that relationship, and we're still friends today. I think of love as a miracle salve that I apply to every injury, every hurt, every sad or angry thought. It heals guilt as well as grievances. It smooths out the rough spots on the roads we travel and brings peace to every situation we find ourselves in. I'm learning to love everything in my life, the people and the situations I enjoy and those that challenge me. Love is a way I walk in gratitude. Lesson 195. The bow that wraps up this package is gratitude. Gratitude is a close cousin to love, sometimes the effect of love, sometimes a walk I take to bring me to love. I might have trouble accepting that I love a particularly difficult person in my life, but I might be able to feel gratitude for him. I'm grateful that he's playing his part in our shared lesson in forgiveness. Then it's just a short step to loving him for doing so, and another small step to simply loving him as part of me and part of our Creator. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading. I hope that you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And thank you to those of you who have subscribed. I appreciate you. See you tomorrow.